Welcome, guys, to the Roundtable Podcast.
Hey.
We'd like to thank you for coming in. Obviously, we're just coming on, and I know it takes time for people to come on, but for those who are tuning in, we'd like to thank you for joining us today, the Roundtable Podcast. We have everybody here today. We have Lady B, we have Lady Lovely T, RW3, and yours truly, Antonio, here on the pod. And that's pretty much it. You know what I mean, guys? We're into I don't know what episode
this is. Our 81.
81, number 81 episode. That's a good thing, guys. But we have a great topic for an interesting one.
You want them to share and subscribe and all that first, or we want to get into it?
Well, I was going to say all of that. I was going to say all of that, but we have an exciting podcast for today. We definitely want you to like and share this podcast because of what's going on, what we're talking about today, and we're kind of keeping it in the same a little bit. In the area that we talked about last week, we put up Ice Cube and talked about that contract. I guess we just didn't want to talk about the contract and just leave it alone and don't really kind of like dive into the contract to see exactly what is the contract. You know what I mean? What is this contract that he's speaking up on? And guys, before we get into it, I just want to say, I don't know if you've seen, well, you haven't seen it in the news, what happened. And I'm not talking about this as in a racist situation, but according to the, Rochester, New York, where the guy got killed, got shot by the police officers, and he seemed to have had a mental health situation, and I thought about what we talked about last week, and that's what that would actually. I mean, I seen it clearly that if maybe there was someone in the car who understand mental health or whatever, who understand these situations that could have probably been avoided. Because there was someone in the car who could recognize, hey, fellas, listen, we're going to have to approach this a different way because this is obviously a problem going on. And I get what you guys, we just got to train. I mean, maybe they need training. Now, I would say this, RW3, even if it's Lovely T involved, that's I hate to say it online, but that's a business in itself right there. If you guys had almost like a service where you send out social workers to those police officers who are already, or listen, a training class that you guys offer to train officers. I mean, I don't want to throw the money out there with the money back, but that's a good idea.
Somebody else
so that you're right, it is, and there are companies. I don't want to say companies, but there are folks out there that have developed curriculum and are trying to procure contracts with the police department to do that very thing. The program that I was speaking about that I'm currently over, we do that. We do the training with the police officers. We go into the academy before they even hit the streets. But I think the one thing that we have to remember is that it's one thing to train, and then it's another to step into a culture that doesn't indoctrinate that training into their everyday, culture. So we still have work to do.
Well, see, this is what I was saying. I get what you said, and I don't know if RW3, I don't want to put his business out there, but I do recall, riding along or doing a ride along or something. I'm talking about train people who are, whatever that means in terms of being qualified, so that, and it comes from you. Listen, I get it. Y'all got a company that that's not your money. I'm talking about your money. I'm talking about someone who set up. Listen, years ago, I think me and my wife had just gotten married, and it's probably like a year after we've gotten married. Remember that company that I was working for, and I had to go take the nurses to their job, to their assignments.
You had to take the
right. They already had the lady had already had the nurses already available.
Yeah,
they just had the contract, and they'll send them out. That's what I'm talking about. If there was a situation where you guys or somebody had. I mean, listen, I'm telling you, this would be real in demand right now if y'all put your foot on it. And I might be talking to somebody else out there in the audience, which I don't want to do. I'm talking to you guys that I understand that you train, but to have an organization set up where you have these workers already ready to go and you send them on that assignment. Now, here's the thing. They're not building a relationship with the drivers per se to say that I'm getting to know you as a person, because now what happens is if something was to happen, you know what I mean? Our relationship becomes so strong. I'm talking about where they go and it's never the same person. You know what I mean? Whereas, you know what I mean? You have all of these social workers, they're already trained, and you have the contract to say, hey, listen, I got a trainer, I got a
somebody might be online
worker.
Still in this idea.
Yeah, I know.
Now.
I'm just there. I got a trainer that will go out with you every day, or I'll send our trainer to do. You get what I don't want to get too deep with it, but I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. It could be a contract in there where you guys can pick that money up. You know what I mean? So, but I get it. But yeah, if you want to get that money yourself, if you have the licenses, if you know how to train, if you can pull people together, why not do that? And then you can go to whoever and say, hey, listen, this is the services that I offer, and I have qualified drivers that could drive. And look how nationwide that will be. And they will be looking for your company. And now you're making money, and this is something that's needed that can help with. Because I was thinking about that. Sure. I said, if it was if it was somebody like a social worker riding in the car, doing a ride along with these drivers, maybe that might not have happened. And I'm not saying, you know what I mean? I don't want to talk too much about it because I know that you guys can marinate with that on your own, so it won't just get out in public. But everything and all. But yeah, let's guys, listen, be sure to like and subscribe to this page, guys. We want you to share. Listen, guys, go over to our Facebook. Our Facebook, it needs some love. You know, I think our more accomplished page would be Facebook. But our YouTube needs some love. If you want to go back and look at some of these videos, guys, go ahead, go check us out. We asking you to, as well as go to our Instagram, our IG page, and check us out, guys. All the information is on the screen. Be sure we come on every Sunday at around this time, 4:35, guys. That's every week. We would love for you if you want to learn more about the podcast. Stay tuned. Continue watching. Guys, so let's get into this topic. I think last week we was kind of like talking about the Ice Cube situation.
Yeah, we were in
terms of the vote. So I guess I'll just talk about a little bit briefly about what we said last week in terms of the Ice Cube piece, where he was asking, like, even when someone, that certain person, 45, get into office. Even when it's time to vote, chances are, even if, the Democrat actually win the vote, what do we do now?
Right.
You know what I mean? And he said, so what do we do now? We understand what you guys want, but what if, so if that party win, what do we do now? To say that, do we have a plan in place that will help Black America out? And that's what we last talked about. And what we did was we went a little bit deeper and we found the contract, because he talked about the contract in the last, if you go check out the episode. And now we're talking about just some of the things. I think it's about three things we'll talk about within the contract so that you guys can see what's in the contract. Let's go to it. In fact,
he has about 13
Yep.
categories within his contract, and everything from debt and credit to prison reform. So I mean, it's pretty comprehensive.
Yeah, it is exactly. It is. So we're gonna go directed. Let's go to one of them, and what is this one here? Let's read this one. This one is the Federal Reserve.
Federal Reserve.
Yeah, this will be the Fed. Now, guys, what we're about to look at is this is the piece. This is part of the contract that Ice Cube was talking about for Black America.
Okay.
Go ahead, Jasmine.
Should have read one, but that's fine.
Okay. Let's read this one.
All right. So this one is Federal Reserve and government pension. So for qualified Black Americans, Federal Reserve would allow a one-time interest-free loan for home ownership. So that's basically to ensure that banks and institutions oversees or complies with bank lending reform. It says that they also want to adopt a modern monetary theory with a goal of full employment and avoidance of actual inflation. It also says that federal and state pension funds control over $1 trillion. So they must allocate 13.4% of their investments into Black-owned enterprises and businesses. And then lastly, it says venture capital and private equity funds that take money public entities, they must invest 13.4% of their total funds into Black-owned businesses.
So that's one of.
So that's one of them. So, but the
ahead.
representation of what he's trying to do is number one. If you go to number one, and real quick, it'll just give you like a overall of what the bill to guarantee Black opportunity is. So
can you read that?
Can
Let's
just read a little quick, not all of it, but probably some of it.
Sure. It says they want to adopt a plan of neo-reconstruction to redress past wrongs systematically imposed on Black Americans economically throughout many generations that has resulted in a wealth gap where the average white family has 10 times the wealth of a Black family. In addition to some of the economic initiatives listed below, they also want a formal apology, looks like, to Black Americans for past discrimination and slavery. So that's just
good job.
Yeah.
Good job. And see, guys, could you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Good. So, and that's what the contract involves. Now, that last piece of the contract, I don't know if somebody's going to apologize. Right.
I think we already got like the official apology for slavery.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah. And see, my thing would be, I guess what he's saying, and guys, of this being part of the contract, that this is what at least, and then he said that, like, the contract will be remodified. It doesn't necessarily have to go as we see it. It can be if there need to be changes can be made. And I guess what I'm saying is at least, and I'm not even going to say at least, because at least means it seems like this is, no, this is a start of some words that's put together that can be presented that represent us as a people.
That's right.
And I guess what everyone is saying, that we're willing to vote for whoever is willing to say, hey, I accept your contract because it actually benefits you as who you are. And honestly, be honest about it, I don't care who accepts it. Either one of them can accept it, because I know why the rhetoric is going on. It's benefiting us as a people.
That's right.
And I mean, even going down there with it talks about the chokeholds and different things that has to cease, and different things under the police reform part. I mean, to me, I think I signed it. I signed it already. And if there's any modifications, I'll be, as long as they make sense, I'll re-sign it. You know what I mean? But at least it's going to say, hey, listen, who's going to accept this? Here's the proposal on the table. Who want to accept it?
Because I haven't seen nobody else come up with nothing yet. Have you guys? For Black America, have anybody seen anything yet?
Well, I know the one coalition, gosh, they've been pretty vocal during these protests. I believe that they have one that they're pushing, but because I don't have the specifics, I'll digress. If I can pull it up, I'll bring it to the forefront.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And I guess that's what that's what we were doing. We're just going over it. Guys, I can't say it anymore. Just talking to Black America. And this is not that kind of, Black Power, podcast or anything like that. But just if I can inform you of some things that's been going on now that you could play a part of that can or possibly make a difference when it comes to us as people, because whether it's good or bad news, our people are being shot and killed out here in these streets.
That's right.
And then there's an agenda going on that make it seem like we're causing more violence in these riots when it's not us. Or people, not always just people like us. There's some other added flavors in there, if you know what I mean. So it's not just us sitting out here acting crazy, but we need something for us.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
We need something for us, at least to go on the table. If we're going to play this game, then let's play it. But hey, make sure that we are part of the game. And this is how we become a part. Making
another piece, that I found interesting in the contract when it talks about, Black responsibility,
Yeah.
And a piece that kind of stands out. It talks about the contract is a two-way street. As we gain social and economic equality, we must begin to dissolve any bitterness in our hearts for past wrongs. And let me go down a little bit. It talks about we really must step up after we pass the contract with Black America, with no more excuses left in the kitty. Our entertainers should be persuaded to deliver more positive content that leads to our youth to make better choices in life, and a new pride must develop with these new opportunities, and we must fight against negativity, frustration, hopelessness, depression, alcoholism, drug abuse, crime, and violence. So it kind of talks about, our responsibility in this, and it's not 100% because if we totally depend on them doing their part, then we don't do our part, it's not going to work.
Well, says the man that made his, probably some of his major dollars off of a movie about smoking weed.
Right. Yeah. Well,
I mean, it's easy to say that once you've earned your millions, and you can sit back and say, we need to not do this. So I think in concept and in theory, it's wonderful. But I mean, it could be viewed by some as a little hypocrite.
Well, I mean,
and he made millions. And do I necessarily? I mean, we could debate if we agree with, I guess, the route. But while he was making millions, he was kickstarting people's careers and putting other Black people in position to make millions. He hired F. Gary Gray, to do not only Friday, he brought him on to do Straight Outta Compton, which killed the box office. So he's also investing in the community and employing Black actors, directors, and other people in Hollywood with Cube Vision as well.
Well, I mean, that's great, but I'm just, but in that decree or that, that statement, that part of the contract, he's talking about putting out more positive images.
Well, I mean, you got to right your wrongs. I mean, it's not that, nobody's perfect. I mean, look at Malcolm X. I mean, president before he went to prison, he robbed, he steal, he did, smoke cocaine, he did a whole lot of stuff. When he went back to try to get the people and pull them out. A lot of times, sometimes it takes people who've been there to go back and pull you out because they've been there. You know what I mean? They've made the mistake. So, I get it. I mean, like I said, I do get it. That's how it works. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to go through something before you can help somebody else or understand what's going on. Just like Joe Budden doing now, or him trying to get a better deal with Spotify, or at least he was trying to, as a black man. You know what I mean? So, you know.
Yeah, and I don't wanna discredit. I'm just saying there's that segment out there. You know, I like to be the voice of the opposing or devil's advocate kind of a thing.
Right.
I just think that you're gonna have that segment out there that's like, yeah, okay, Q, say that now, but remember when, you know.
But to those people, at least it's something being done. And
absolutely.
Is going, and they had to take his dollars to put that together, to put that website up, to put that contract together. He had to spend some money. You know what I mean? And at least we think it was valued as something. So I mean, you know, kudos to him.
Great. You know, in all honesty and transparency, I haven't read each segment of it in full thoroughness, but like you said, to have so many facets within the contract took some thought. And you know, I've seen billboards where they would put all the candidates. It'll be something simple like these candidates support proposal 2, and it'll have all of them. You know what I mean? And so I think if they want to, like, if they want to, they could really push this contract, like you were saying, to the parties and see, you know, and it can't just be presidential. They need to be pushing this all the way through, you know, federal, state, and local governments, and then put a ticket out that says, you know, these are the people who support the Black contract. Then that way, you know, for those of us who don't have time or don't have, you know, the opportunity to read everybody's platform, you can say, well, I know I'm on board with this contract, and here's a list of the people that said that they would be willing to support this contract. So I might vote them, and they could be Democrat, Republican, but they support our Black agenda. So they could push it out like that, you know, and put the resources behind some of these tenets that are listed in the contract. I like it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right.
And I think I 100% agree with Tone on, you know, we have to expand our thinking and not to continue to be pimped by the Democratic Party. And I do agree that whoever embraces the contract is who we're going to support. But not only that, because you have the federal level, but I think with this contract, we need to get a movement right here in whatever city, Detroit. We need to sit down with city council or who's ever running for mayor.
Yeah.
Okay, if you want to get in, we need you to connect this contract on a local level.
Right.
And then with the government, like every level, we need to hold politicians accountable. Tell us what exactly you're going to do in relation to this contract.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
That is.
That's a real good idea.
Because we have a lot of, because the way the nation was formed, of course we got the federal, you know, Tone, you always make this point. Sometimes in your city and state, for example, states' rights. The federal is saying that on federal roads or it's a federal crime, marijuana. But guess what? They can't mess with you in the city or the state because the state has rights to, in a sense, to govern themselves. So there's so much power. We need to hold the state and the city officials in the county. If you want our vote, it's not going to be a straight Democratic ticket. It's going to be, so if it's a Republican and they're going to jump on our agenda, and in Detroit right now, they're voting for city council by districts. So if you want to be in this district based on this contract, I want you to tell me a couple things you're going to do in this zip code to address these things in the contract.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's what I was saying too. It has to be local. It can't, I mean, again, it's the presidency, and that's huge. And of course, having federal dollars or having legislation, you know, putting the human services department behind it, or you know, to have that federal oversight is wonderful. But it goes nowhere if you have a president that supports it, but a Senate and a House that doesn't.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think that's where people get they dropped the ball. Like it cannot just be like we keep saying at the federal level. It has and at that one branch, the executive branch, it has to filter through every single branch and level of government.
So what happens if he get like 1 million signatures? Does that do he have to get like a certain amount of signatures to be able to present it?
Well, it goes like this. What normally happens is like the more signatures, the more it shows strength. You know what I mean? Even to make even some noise, because I mean, it's just like that's the type of society we live in today with social media in terms of subscribers. Even our well-known singer who just got on, you know, it all is all about those numbers. You know what I mean? Those numbers make people say, okay, well, maybe we need to pay attention.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's what he's trying to do. For those who don't know, where can they go to their website? How did they get in contact?
We have that link.
Do we have a link?
We have that link right there.
We need to have a link.
Yes,
okay,
right
so
there.
guys, it's on there for those who need to, whoever is looking, want to read it, pay attention to it, support it. You know, I see everybody out there running with us when we running up and down these streets. Be that same to get on there and sign that contract to want to, if you really think that certain people's lives matter. You know who I'm talking about. You know what I mean? If you really believe that, then go on and sign that document. You know what I mean? So and power to you. You know what I'm saying? So because that's what matters to me at the end of the day. It ain't about walking up the street and all this old stuff and tearing up stuff in your own community. I don't care about none of that. That doesn't matter. You just look more crazy when you tear your own stuff up. You know what I mean?
Well, and you know that they're saying. Go ahead.
It's funny you said that, Tone. You know, some of the people, I'm just going to like Will Breathe, which is in Detroit, and I was reading how they, like you said, protesting, but what baffles me about protesting is they don't want to be held accountable if they're walking down in the middle of 8 Mile, stopping traffic, and they're saying the police ought not move them out of the way when you're breaking the law.
Yeah.
And I want to separate between police, what they're supposed to be doing. For example, all of us on this panel have children. So if we were going to the hospital or taking our child to the doctor and they're walking down the middle of the street, I mean, that's a hazard. I mean, it's a hazard for emergency vehicles. But they're making an argument, it's okay for us to stop traffic and the police not move you out the way when you're resisting arrest in traffic. And I think, like you said, Tone, that solves nothing but just make me upset and not support your movement if I'm trying to drive from point A to point B.
Right.
Well, and on top of that, some of the commentary has been like, the suburban white woman vote is critical, and Trump is gonna gain in that area because his whole messaging is about bringing back order and control. You know what I mean? So the more that we riot and these cities don't exercise brutal force or brute force to get things back in control. One, I think he said he was going to pull funding from them. Yeah. Because again, he's trying to win over the scared, and I hate to make it racial, but again, that's what the commentators are saying. The scared white woman in the suburbs who don't want that violence coming to, her front door. He's going to win those votes over.
Yeah, and instead of running it, and I get it, people got to make their point, but there's a better way to do it, and here it go. It's in the documentation. It's put before the people that be, and it says, "Hey, listen, we matter, and here's the documentation. If you think that we really matter, like you said in your speeches, Here go the paper.
Right.
I need you guys to go over it, and here's how you get our vote.
Right.
If you can approve this document or even work with it, remodify it, whatever we need to do, come to an agreement to say, hey, listen, I'm willing to support this agreement.
That's right.
That's what matters to me. They want you to run around in the streets. They want you to act a fool. They want us to do these things. They want us to tear our communities up, but they don't want you to get behind the documentation that says, hey, listen, here's what we need to sustain us while we're here on this earth. You know what I mean? This is what we need to sustain us as a people. So that, guys, I just tell you to go. I mean, just check out the page.
Just read over it.
Yes. The people with the money, the people that really have the power and the influence, you know what I'm saying? I've heard on more than one occasion, because this didn't just start today, right? But they will at least respect and hear out when you present with civility.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like what Cube is doing, but all the ranting and raving and tearing up, they're just gonna tune us out. They're not even gonna listen. You know, so you have to use their language in order for them to understand what you're saying. And they, this rioting is not their language. They're just gonna, look at us as heathens.
Right.
So we have to approach it with some civility.
That's right.
And some level of sophistication, because there is a huge segment of people in power and influence that's like, okay, well, what do y'all want? What do y'all want? Tell us what you want, So yeah.
And that's true.
And I think you mentioned it throughout some of the podcast, Tone, is the money. And if you like when they did the with Rosa Parks, I think it's 300. I forgot. Don't quote me on the days when everybody stopped riding the buses and using the transportation and the city. They began to lose money. Yeah. It made a difference.
Yeah.
When you impact their pocket. Another example, like those owners with Kaepernick, they. I just read something recently that a lot of teams didn't take a chance on him because they said they was going to lose 20% of gate money. So Tone, like for example, but now with them NBA players, them boycotting games, them owners are doing something.
Yeah.
Because of that money. And I bet you the NFL, them players said, look, all those billionaires who have all this influence with legislators and all that in those cities, and they say, you know what? If you all don't do this, or this, we're not going to play the first 3 games. Tone, I bet you they do something.
I bet you they will too. That's right. That's the main
that's so
thing.
True.
That's the spot. That's what counts.
Hit them right in the pocket.
Hit them right in the pocket. So guys, that's all we saying in that minute. Just we just doing our part and say, just go check it out. Just check it out and tell us what you think. Nobody's pushing, forcing anyone to do anything, to sign anything. We just want to inform you about what's going on, and there is an agenda out there. But there's also a solution for or a temporary fix. I don't think it's the solution, but it's a temporary solution for situations like you said. People still have to get themselves together
because they even talked about housing in one of those. Did you guys see that?
The house reform.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
That was a pretty good
one because Black people need to own homes.
Yes,
they need to. It's been a big thing about farming. With blacks actually getting
land and farming,
purchasing land. Exactly. I guess y'all been.
We've been doing a lot of research in us, and our oldest daughter. Well, not oldest daughter, but one of our daughters. She's adamant about starting a farm and getting land, and she's really serious about it. So we've been doing a lot of researching lately and really looking into this.
Yeah, you really.
Well, my alma mater is known for agriculture. Michigan State.
I thought you went to Columbia or Harvard. My bad.
No.
That's right. That's right. Well,
yeah, so
but
yeah, we're
it's
gonna do
been
some research in there too.
yeah, it's a big thing
Yeah.
going on, and
Yeah.
so we just gotta. Hey guys, not to just go off to the west, to the south, but did y'all hear about that on the news where they was talking about actually snow?
Yeah, did you guys hear that?
Coming this week? Have anybody heard?
Really?
Yeah, they was.
Is
Get
that
out of here.
or is that fake news?
Producer, what did you
That
hear?
was fake news. That better be fake news.
I mean, I hope
We
it
gonna-
was fake news. I got a message from someone saying that there was a cold front or something moving this way towards Michigan, and that we could possibly be getting snow this week in September.
Well, I need to see that on the news or the Weather Channel or somebody
But
channel
the
because
fact is,
Oh,
yeah, the fact is
I
being
know that-
said.
right.
You know what I mean? That I'm saying, huh? Are we sure? I mean,
are
what
we
do you
sure
mean?
you
You say-
Michigan or
Did you
something?
say sad tone?
Yeah. You know,
So y'all better pull out those winter
you
coats.
say road trip to somewhere below the Dayton, what is it? Mason-Dixon line?
yeah, man.
They tried it.
They
That's
tried
all I
for
can
real,
say. They
'cause
tried it.
we
'cause
was sitting up there thinking about, no, that couldn't be right. I
That could
mean,
be right.
No. And
No,
then
you
I was somewhere sitting and so TV was on. I swear they must have showed at least 3-4 times a commercial about Christmas. I was like, Lord Jesus, we got the Halloween.
What? Record cold temperatures and a rare. The producer be moving stuff. September snow arrived this week.
Where? In Canada?
Oh,
Okay, it don't tell us where. It don't say Michigan. Where it say at Michigan? It don't say in Michigan.
Maybe in Canada or
It ain't Michigan, y'all. It ain't Michigan.
Maine or somewhere a little north.
Mountains and all that. It ain't here.
Oh,
I'm about to say,
All right. You can't say you can't be
if
listening
we
to
would have
people.
got that for Michigan, I would
I've been like this. Yeah. I'll be going to California or Vegas
No, you
or
don't wanna go to
Nevada. I'll be going
Yeah.
to Nevada, Henderson, Nevada.
Listen, this is global warming, guys. Because you go west, you're going to get burnt up, or you're going to have an earthquake, or you know what I mean? You go down south, you're going to have a hurricane that's going to flood your house and take your house off the ground. You go east, you're going to have snow up to your
Right.
rooftop. Like, this is
Right.
global warming.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's right. That's right.
Right,
so
right.
we just there's a lot of weird things going on.
Yeah.
But we can go ahead and go to the next topic. We're just talking about
Yeah,
topics.
right.
What is that next
What we
topic?
got? What
I
we
think it was
got?
a relationship conversation.
Yeah, we got it's right on up there. Okay, so guys, we're gonna be discussing this is the title, the topic, whatever. She denied him sex for 2 years. He gets a girl pregnant, and whose fault is it? Is it his fault or is it her fault?
Wow,
So,
that's a deep one right here.
That's really,
me too. Who fault is it?
who fault is it? Is it
We
his or
can't hear you,
her?
lovely T. We can't hear you.
I said, you go.
Well, see what it is okay. So we're talking about. Let's put it back up there again. She denies him sex. It doesn't say if they were married or single.
Right.
Does it matter? Your viewing audience, we want you to participate in this comment below. What do you think about this? Here's the thing. Even after the podcast is over, you still can leave comments below, and we would love to hear what you think about this. I mean, this is a tough situation.
Mm-hmm.
The young lady said that, it said that he's been denied. So does he change his mind and say, hey, forget you? You know what I mean? I'm gonna go ahead and do it this way then. I mean, and I get caught up in the middle.
Don't be blaming me.
Yes, don't be blaming. What do you guys think about that out there? Panel, what do we think? How do we start this off? I mean, I guess it's a lot
we got
of
a comment.
okay, good. We got a comment. Or what is that?
What
comment?
was going on in a relationship? That's what
And
she wanted to know.
that plays a big part. What
Right.
goes on in a
Was he a
relationship.
dog?
Yeah, But
That's
see,
why
here's
she
the
did.
here's the
What
thing.
was going on?
What my think is to that what's going on is it that or why are you still in the relationship after 2 years? You know what I mean? I mean, what are you in the relationship for? You know what I mean? If we're dating, if we marry, and we know that this is a part of the relationship that we agreed to from the beginning, and you say no in 2 years.
But Catherine said, it really depends where they married. Because she said it.
But you shouldn't be living in the same. I think that here's the thing. I think that there's a lot of twists, turns, and twists in here, but ultimately, I would say that he was wrong for having a baby under the terms of their agreement in terms of being in a relationship. But the fact still remains, he should have just left the relationship. I mean, if I'm in you know what I mean? We talk about 2 years. Why are we here? You know what I mean? Why are we in this place right here? Yeah. Well,
so for a person that's not married, is it wrong?
Yeah, it's wrong. I think it's wrong both ways because you breaking the grounds of the contract. You know, she broke it and I broke it. We both broke.
So what do you
contract.
guys think?
I'm waiting for our W3 to talk.
Anyway, since she want to be a bully. So now I think that she basically said, please go cheat on me. She said, please go cheat on me. I'm encouraging you to do so. And because she encouraged him to do so with that behavior, he acted on it.
So do you?
I should have known you was gonna say something to the left.
Well, I mean, I think that's true. I agree with RW3 because that is a pass. But my thing is, I also believe that he should have just left the relationship.
Right.
2 years, right?
2 years. I mean, 2 years.
Yeah.
Why are y'all there? I mean, what is it? Y'all paying bills?
Right.
Through the bill payment. I mean, what is it? You know what I mean?
So.
And what would you think have happened if she says you doing it, I'm gonna do it?
Right.
You know. I mean, why are you in a relationship?
I mean, but to say that because she was holding out, she was basically saying, go ahead and cheat. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Like, that's ridiculous. What if there was a medical issue? Or what if, I mean, there's a lot of ifs that we can put in there because we don't know the details.
That's true.
Just make a general statement like, because
it wasn't a medical issue.
How you know?
Right, you wasn't there.
So listen, in our relationship hour, the way that was presented, she denied it.
But
normally, I mean, we would have said in our introduction because of a medical issue. But we introduced it, she denied it.
Like, dang, I mean, it's levels to it, to me. It's one thing that you went outside of the agreement, but then you didn't even protect yourself. Like, you just out haphazard. Like, I mean, and it happens all the time. It's been happening. This happens all the time. This isn't an uncommon probably phenomenon.
He did protect himself. It slipped off.
Oh, shut up. It's called the morning after.
But why did she deny it? Like Catherine said, what was the issue? Why did she deny it?
Well, we don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, we don't know.
I guess if we were playing detective, and we don't got all the answers, but we still have to make, we have to come to some type of conclusion.
Right.
What is the conclusion based on the evidence that's put before you? We don't know everything. From my situation, I can only go back to what I'm seeing now as is this healthy in our relationship. So I can go up. If I can look at to say that 2 years is something. It's definitely something serious. Mm-hmm. We definitely agree that it's something about whatever this is, whether it's a health issue. I would think that you would be transparent enough to come to me and tell me what's going on with you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because you care about the relationship. You know what I mean? But if you just so as a detective, I'm gonna throw that one out. I don't think there was a health issue because that's actually an easier fix. I think to say, hey, listen, this is my justification why we can't do this, and if you still want to be with me, you know, but if not, I get it. You get what I mean? So I'm gonna throw that out of the window. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that.
We throw that out the window, lovely T.
Okay, that's fine.
What's the next reason?
So the next conclusion.
Well, see, had he been dogging her out?
Well, have she been dogging her out? That could be a factor. But now, to me, is there a sexual
attraction?
Is there the opposite? Are you gay? You get what I mean? And you don't want to be involved, but you still have some emotional. You haven't stepped out the closet. Right. You know what I mean? You haven't really official of this thing. You know what I mean? To say, hey, this is the kind of person that I really am. I mean, 2 years.
Well, she did, like, you know what? She wanted to stay with him based on his financial acumen, and she was just sleeping with somebody else.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He slept with somebody else, not her.
He was supporting her financially. She stopped having sex with him. She didn't want to break up with him because she was sleeping with somebody else. He said, forget it, I'm going to go ahead on.
No, he slept with somebody else, though.
I just said that.
Oh.
That's what I just said.
So you said he was supporting her financially.
No, she denied him sex. She was tired. I mean, she wasn't happy with him sexually, so she stopped sleeping with him. So he got frustrated with that.
Yeah.
And slept with somebody else.
But then you gonna go have a baby?
But who was in control in that situation? Who was in control? What do I mean? Whether the situation where the guy held the cards, but here's the thing to me. So now this one is gonna get a little controversial. I know, you know, we're playing, but I'm throw it out there. What I was
hold on, before you say that. Lady B, do you have any idea what he about to say? That's gonna be controversial.
No.
Okay, no, go ahead, Tom.
Well, I'm not saying controversial as in controversial. I'm gonna put one of them under the bus. So I guess what I'm saying is that could it be that somebody holds the cards? Now, what am I saying? I'm gonna throw out the window again. So I threw out the window that it couldn't have been a health issue.
A health issue.
Right.
So the next thing I'm gonna throw out the window is she don't necessarily. It couldn't be that he have the power. I'm gonna throw that out the window. Now, what am I saying by that? Well, if he have the power and it's been 2 years and unless he really care about her, but he's not involved with her, he can say easily, you gotta go. You know what I mean? Or I don't care if I'm sleeping around on you, but you know what I mean? Because I hold all the cards, meaning I'm making the money, I'm doing all of this, and I'm deciding that you stay. To me, that don't make sense. So I'm gonna throw out the window that he's in charge of the relationship in terms of what we're seeing now. What it sounds to me is that she owed the cards. Maybe it's one of those, you know, and we know we speculate.
Or Tone, can I just throw in there marriage?
Huh?
Marriage, because we couldn't establish if the couple was married or not. So even if it wasn't either or of them holding the power, perhaps it was the marriage and not wanting to let go of the marriage or wanting to be in a failed marriage. So he stayed for the sake of the marriage. Just throwing that in as a additional thought to your theory.
Yeah, but I guess I was just saying that it could be one of them situations also where she hold all the cards, meaning she love him, you know what I mean, and you know, but you got to do right by me, and until you do right by me, this ain't gonna happen. But I still care about you.
Yeah, but that's wrong because the Bible does say, "Do not abstain from your husband," even if it's a husband,
right?
But it doesn't say boyfriend.
Right.
So if it's a boyfriend, you can do what you want to do. But I'm saying if it's a husband and wife, you don't supposed to do that for 2 years, especially.
Right.
So yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Now, so obviously they may not be spirit. Well, I can't say they spiritual, but maybe they don't go by the Bible. So we throw that out the window,
right? Because
of what we see it now. So now the two options that I see is what you guys said. Maybe they're married. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that could be a strong possibility. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of leaning more towards that one. What Lovey T said, maybe they could be married, and now it's because of just the situation, or somebody hold the cards, and if the power is there, that's what's going on. Old boy say, okay, you keep the power, because guess what? I still need you because of the money that you making. So, but hey, I'm gonna wait on you. I did cheat, but I'm trying to get myself together until you catch me, though. I'm gonna be out here in these streets. You know what I mean?
But wait a minute, until you catch me, you went and had a baby. That's what I'm saying. That's the reckless part of it.
Exactly.
Right. So you wasn't trying to protect yourself, anyway.
Right.
You wouldn't have no baby.
I agree with that. Now you caught. Right. You know what I mean? Because you was out there in those streets. This is what happened.
That's the result.
You know what I mean? So
they're trying to say, is it her fault for that happening or his?
Now that's a tough question. Whose fault is it?
Well, ultimately, though, even with all that being said, he's responsible for his action.
Right. Exactly.
He made a decision, because I'm a huge proponent of people have choices, regardless of what. And even if she denied him, he could have decided, I'm not going to stay in this, and I'm going to step out of it and move on to something else. So he still made the choice.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And I guess I think for us, maybe we're thinking about like the consequences, like as a result of this, the consequences. Because they could very well be able to be like, okay, and keep it moving, depending on where they were at prior to this happening. But I think we're assuming that there's going to be somebody in this is going to be hurt by these actions. So, But
I believe that happens a lot where well, I'll say it like this, where you got your homeboy back in the day in the hood, he's staying with old girl. She got a little bit more things going on than he do. And so, but he is cheating on the side. He going back home, but he's cheating on the side, and he don't want to cut off that livelihood. You know what I mean? He don't want to cut off that livelihood. Right. He didn't get caught cheating. You know what I mean? He done messed up, and she like, I ain't, I'm straight. You know what I mean? And he like, okay, well, whenever you ready. But until then, I'm gonna be in these streets. If I don't get caught, then it's something you don't have to know. I'm gonna play the game with you because I need to live. You know what I mean? I'm just throwing it out there. But I know guys that was in that kind of mindset, whether they were, doing whatever they did in the streets.
So it's kind of almost like we're just using each other. I'm using you, so I'm gonna do my own thing. Right. You do your own thing, or whatever. We still gonna. If we do come together, we come together. Right
now is the disrespect involved. Right. At least the disrespect been going on, but now you threw it in my face.
Right.
You didn't hide your disrespect. You know what I mean? Yeah. You just threw it in my face and said, "Here go the baby." Boom. Now she's forced to make a decision if she got any common sense. You know what I mean?
But I heard a lot of people.
There's been plenty of women that accept I hate to say, the bastard child. Like, it's been plenty of women to, continue to be with the man, except that.
What happened with Keisha Cole? Didn't Keisha Cole didn't the baby father had a child that she was taking care of, and she finally sent the baby, the child back home? I never heard
about that. That's what I was wondering. Is that what happened? Because I never heard about that.
I heard it on one of the talk shows about, allegedly. I don't even throw it.
Okay, what baby was this? What father was
this? I guess it was from one of the daddies. I guess the last son. Father.
Oh, really?
I'm not for sure, but I know it was in the setup where she got tired of saying, you got to go back to the baby mama. I'm not taking care of no more kids, nobody's kids. Only my own. I'm just putting that in my own.
Oh, I got to look into that because I ain't see that.
Yeah, I guess that was out there. And that sometimes be the case where the woman ends up holding the car or somebody else's. I seen this meme, and it was the man. He was sitting on one side of the bed, and the woman was laying in the woman was hugged up on the man, and he was like, you can go if you want, since I had this second child. And she was like, well, we could take care of them together. That was the meme.
Lord.
You know what I mean? One of those kind of situations where, how many times that really happened though? Where the man end up go messing around. We know stories like that of people personally.
All the time.
Yeah, where he goes sit around and then she take the baby
and take care of the baby. That's what that movie was about. What was that movie where we seen with Denzel Washington? The one we all went to see, and during all of us, and he ended up having Denzel at the end, and she wanted to
Fences.
take. What is it? Fences.
Yeah,
Fences. Yeah.
So that story.
Was a good movie. I never saw it. Was it good?
It was a good movie.
Good.
Yeah, it was actually a play. So it was a redo.
Uh-huh.
But it was good.
Is it appropriate for a 10-year-old? Okay, y'all pause. It's okay.
I didn't hear you. What'd you say, woman?
But you know what? This is a side note, and because I know you. What about Boys in the Hood? Because my son needs to understand, like, some origins, okay? And Boys in the Hood is like a staple of our culture. And I want to show him. He's already seen Friday. But I didn't know if Boys in the Hood was like, if I need to wait a couple more years before we go down Boys in the Hood and Society. I don't know.
I don't know, because Friday was just as it was still where you seen a lot of things that they did in the hood. I don't think that Fridays is no more different than Boys in the Hood. Boys in the Hood just show of of a more realist depiction of the hood. You get what I mean? And it's a little bit more educated. To be honest about it, Boys in the Hood's a little bit more. You will learn a little bit more in terms of being educated about our the way we live. So what's his name? Morris Chestnut did a good job in that area when he went to the real estate. Remember he took them to that area, that community.
Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne, when he said gentrification. You're right, Tom. That was good.
Yeah, you will learn some things, and it's and then you see another great part of it. You see a father stepping up his game to take care of his son. And so that the woman can go get her life together. It was like a switcheroo type deal. Yeah. So even though you see a lot of negative, because negative things happen in the hood. Face it. You know what I mean? So no, I think that's a real good picture to show. It showed jealousy. You know what I mean? It showed a whole lot of. It showed some good things in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like Lawrence Fishburne in that movie and how he stepped up to be a man over his son. You know what I mean? I really like that. So that's a good, but I'm getting back, so we won't lose focus. I guess my thing is that you see that storyline a lot. The only thing you don't see is the holdout for 2 years. That to me,
2 years is a long time.
Yeah.
It
really is.
That was a little, to me, unrealistic. Maybe it was. I don't know. Maybe it was something that's true, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just like that thing that I can't even talk about that. I was about to say I heard something else unrealistic to me. Allegedly, when they threw out about that Creflo Dollar situation.
Oh,
you know what I mean? I don't know if y'all heard that, but I can't go into that.
What's up with Creflo Dollar?
No, well, it was alleged. It's not. I'm not saying it is true or not. Because I'm not. No, I heard it from a third party. You know what I mean? And that's where I'm getting it from.
You don't want to get at this
Tasha K.
Tasha K.
It was on her platform where she was talking about, not me, not this platform, about how they heard something about Creflo being caught up for 4 hours getting banged out in a hotel room by another guy. You know what I mean? And for 4 hours straight. You know what I mean? But I mean, you know, I'm saying, yeah, you know, it's like it's alleged. There's alleged in that area. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that, I mean, you hear so many stories that don't make sense. Like this one to me for 2 years.
Yeah, that's,
you know what I mean? I guess that's what I'm going to here. You know, some things just don't sound.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying
for her, it's gonna be a lesson because you kind of reap what you sow, like your stubbornness. Because that's just point blank stubbornness. Like you said, Tone, like whatever the issue was, you know, some level of conversation should have been held, some type of compromise, some type of concessions in order for the relationship to move forward. So for you to be comfortable to be stuck with not being intimate 2 years.
Yeah. That's on
and
you.
Shame on you, right? It's like, so because you were just as much as part of this as him being accountable for his own actions. So now y'all in this situation.
Now was she raped? You know what I mean? And she couldn't get her senses. You know, it's like
was it a mental?
I would put that in the same category as like a medical reason. Again, if that was a situation, you know what I'm saying? She should have had a conversation with her mate to say, like, you know, this is where I'm at, and you know, give him an opportunity to choose if he can deal with it or not, or you know what I mean. But
or they should have.
It said denied, so it wasn't like there was some kind of understanding that occurred, and you know what I'm saying? Like, because we've had a topic like this somewhere in our 80 episodes. We've had a topic like this before, but I think, again, if there's a valid reason given, then it becomes that other person's choice whether or not they want to deal with it. But to deny, you just, for no reason, you just, holding on to the cookies.
That's the key word, deny. Right.
But I think that they should have had some type of counseling. If they were married, they should have had some type of counseling, because you can't go that long. It's something wrong. It's a big issue going on.
It's a big issue.
So, like, if you were just in a relationship, I mean, you can get counseling, but who get counseling when you in just a regular relationship?
And I don't think you would be in if you.
A lot of people.
No, I didn't know.
If you're not married, I don't understand that. I wouldn't understand it if you're not married. If you married, then you can understand it a little bit better because it's more on the table. Just, your independence. You know what I mean? So, but if you're not married, I don't understand why you would still stay in a relationship like that for 2 years. I wouldn't get it. Yeah, it wouldn't make sense to me. For 2 years, and then you blame, and now I'm gonna say this, but can you blame her? Can you blame him? Can you be upset if it was true that he was out there in them streets? They just dating. I mean, you know what I mean? They're not married, and he's out there messing around, and he ended up getting her. Can you be as mad at him if he come back and say he got somebody pregnant? I mean, honestly, you haven't been doing your part. But so can
What's her part? No,
well, her part is to
give it up.
Well, talk to him. I'm trying to say it in a reasonable manner. You know what I mean? Her part is, your part is this, my part is this. But if he gonna get it somewhere, or she's gonna get it somewhere else if it's not coming from you. But
I know some people have been in relationships for years, because I had a family member that was never married, but they were together for like 15 years. So what if in a case of such as that, you know what I'm saying? Even though they wasn't married, but they was together for a whole lot of years.
Well, they married then. To me, if you married then, you just not married on paper. You know what I mean? You married.
So if that happened in that type of relationship, it would be the same as in the marriage, I guess. So,
it probably would be the same in the marriage. But I'm talking about y'all just dating. Y'all was dating for 5 years. And 2 years, you wasn't. You said no. That's a whole different ball game. What happened? What was this comment?
Brenda said if he stayed, he could love her even with being denied.
I disagree.
That's right, RW3.
That one. I think because you should be you see those warnings of destruction. They're coming along. Those warning of destruction is the red light is on, telling you that hey, this could happen. You see what I mean? If we keep doing it for 2 years, and especially if he's not saying nothing to you, especially if he's going with the flow. Oh, okay, baby, yeah, that's what you want to do. I get it. You trying to heal. Get your healing in. Hey, I'm here for you, my love. And he out there in them streets doing what he want to do. And she like, oh, he is just so nice and caring. I think you probably need to watch it. Because I don't think he's out there being serious. I don't think he's being faithful.
In this situation. Okay. So Brenda said that she counsels people all the time in this situation. Wow.
What the situation?
And she also said, but he still needed, his needs met, so he stepped out. Also, she said if he stayed, he could love her even with being denied. Thank you for those comments, Brenda. I see you got a military uniform. What branch were you in? Just wondering. But go ahead, Tone. I need to.
No, it's just what it is. I get that. Even though we still thinking about human nature, you can't counsel that. You can't counsel human nature. What makes sense to that person, because at the underlying moment, I'm gonna throw this out here. We all selfish in certain ways. I don't care how much, even the counselor who's doing the counseling, we all selfish. We all got our selfish ways. And in this particular time where if this guy say, hey, listen, these needs aren't being met, I'm going to go out here and get it myself. You know what I'm saying? If you're not doing it, to me, that's just like a normal, even if the woman, I think it even vice versa. It's just we all have that nature. Well, we're selfish by nature. We want our needs met at the moment. Gratification is definitely on the table.
Gratification.
You know what I mean? So I don't know if you can counsel that. Now, if you're I think if you're married, now that's a whole different ballgame.
Right.
I think the marriage thing is different. But if we boyfriend and girlfriends, that's crazy. That's crazy. To even go that long.
Because 2 years. Because if you're not boyfriends and girlfriends, you might as well say, "Hey, I don't have anything holding me back. Right. I have no ties. I can go ahead on my way. Yeah. You go on your way." Because but when you marry, it's a little different.
Yes, you just can't.
So
if either of them have any interest in moving forward, I think that him going out and having this child was a wake up call. You know what I mean? Because like I said, they both became complacent in accepting the situation as is. So now that this has happened, it's going to force them to do something in some type of direction. They can no longer just maintain the status quo.
No, not at all. You definitely have. What's this comment?
What did Brenda say? She said people stay.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, read RW3.
Go ahead.
All right. People stay in relationships for different reasons. However, a need not being met at home will be met somewhere else, regardless of marriage, etc. Wow.
I'll read it through there.
Exactly, but you deal with the situation differently based on if it's a marriage or if we just in a relationship. I think we'll deal with it differently. Like Lady B said that, there's no ties holding me to you.
Yeah.
There's not, especially if they're not even a child. And in fact, if I was the woman and you did that and you went out and made a child, you know what I mean? You went half on a baby, like they ghetto term. You know what I mean? You went half on a baby with somebody else. I'm really in a situation where I'm forced to leave now, even though I know
something.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I know that I contribute to this situation happen. I believe that you played a part. You know what I mean? Even if it's not with your body, is with us not having a conversation
about
have a
dialogue about
an adult dialogue to say, hey, listen, you know what I mean?
How I'm feeling, blah, blah, blah,
Right. And then now let's go deeper down the rabbit hole. Can we look at it in this aspect as well? Most women, could he have been where she's seen that he's still a good guy? He's still a good guy. And I see that I should stay there because of that potential. Because I know people now that's, women would say it's hard to find a good guy. Is that old scenario, that old stigma where they say it's hard to find a good guy. And listen, right now for single men who have their own place, who have their own money, they're actually in a better place because there's a lot of men out there who don't really have their stuff together. So when that woman sees that man who looks like he's working, he have his own place is a big deal. His own place, and he look like he's functionable. You know what I mean? He's functionable. That's the thing. You in a good place as a guy. You in a good place as a guy. So going back to this relationship, and we just throwing out scenarios. We don't know what the situation is, and I'm just playing along with it to keep the conversation going. Just to say that maybe she's seen that I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna give him a chance, but it's gonna be on my terms. When I give her, maybe your terms have kind of overstepped his boundaries. It went too far. You know what I mean? Because this guy, I can't hold on no more now. Come on.
You
see what I mean? So could it be that? I mean, it's a lot of things.
There's so many scenarios that's in that.
Yeah. What do you guys think? I mean, it's who playing games here?
Right. Who playing games?
Could she have cheated? And she's trying to hold in, and don't say anything.
Right.
We got a comment.
Brenda says, an emotional tie is stronger than marriage vows in some cases. It all comes down to choices, what you will and will not accept. Women and men choose daily to stay in relationships that don't make sense to others looking in from the outside. Thank you for that comment. And absolutely, I agree. Unless I'm not, even like you said, we're talking with couples, unless I haven't walked a mile in their shoes, I can't determine for them what makes sense for them. Because Brenda, she seems like she's talking from a therapeutic perspective. But I do agree that ultimately we make these choices. Do I want to stay or not? Every person or every couple, people put value and emphasis on some things that other people don't in relationships. But like you said, bringing it back to what we're saying in this case, Tone, I think, in terms of being adults, I'm just going to say adults loosely, that if I've come to the place with the limited information that if intimacy was sex is a major part of our relationship, and I don't want it, and don't beat me up, ladies, and sometimes in terms of power and control, ladies use the fact that I'm not, quote unquote, going to give you none as a way to control you. I'm not going to have sex with you as a way to gain power and control over you. So if she's using it in that context, why not say, you know what? If I have to use the power of my body to control you or to influence your behavior, maybe I don't need to be in a relationship with you.
That's another road that we could definitely travel down, that power struggle. And that's why I went back to the power when I said that at the beginning, but I use economics, you know what I mean, to say that economics can play down even to that, where I'm holding the power and I decide when this thing going to happen, but you actually don't. You really don't, because people can go out and do what they want to do. You know what I mean? And you got to deal with those consequences at the end of the day, because it's going to reflect back to that decision that was made to me. So here's when you guys were talking, and was it Brenda, when she was even talking, what came in my mind was what is considered to be a deal breaker in our relationship. What is a deal breaker? Like you said, you don't know what goes on in people's relationship or what they're willing to do or not do, but you know what a deal breaker is. I can stick with this. I can deal with our relationship, because you got some women out there who would say, well, I know he cheat as long as he don't bring it back to me, or as long as he brings the money back home.
You hear that
they'll
much.
say that. Now, I don't know if they saying that because they know they can't stop them and they try to save face.
And I hear a lot of women that say this too. Men gonna be men. Men, they gonna be men. They cheat. That's what they do.
And now let me ask you that: is that a license to cheat? You know what I mean? Because you use that, because women put that out there. You know what I mean? To say, "Oh, men gonna be men." Now, hopefully, you wouldn't tell him that,
right?
If he's someone that is a person that goes out there and hang out, you know what I mean, in them streets, because that's what you're telling him now.
Right.
You're telling him.
Well, and I think though, so I think like one of the things that I say, or I hear a lot too, especially when we talk about a married situation, is that you knew he was like that when you married him.
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of like, so why is it a problem for you now when you knew that before you said I do?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And you hear that a lot. You hear that single, married or non-married. You hear that. You knew that before you start dating them.
Yeah.
Or you knew before you start married. That's a common use of banter, if you will. In that place, you hear those. You hear that as well.
So what does that say to a woman, though? It just say, okay, well, you just have to accept this. This is what This is what.
Well, like Tom said, I think everybody has their non-negotiables. That's what we call them, and it's going to be different for each person. And the other thing is that sometimes you don't know ahead of time. Like, you thought you could deal with it, but come to find out, that's a non-negotiable, and vice versa. You thought there would be absolutely no way you could deal with it, but in the moment, in the situation, you decide that it's something that you want to work through. So, I mean, I don't think women who say, well, man is going to be a man, and allow him to be out there in the streets, just be prepared for the consequences. Like Tom said, just be prepared for him to come home one day with a baby. Like, can you take care of them while I go back out in the streets? Like, just be prepared for the consequences.
And who to say that she won't go for that because she's already still with him for whatever reason, and y'all still not intimate within that relationship, but you still there. So who's to say that you wouldn't agree with that too? You know what I mean? Because if you as a woman said that this is something, and to me, it's like now after 2 years, it's not about I'm gonna cut them off for a minute. It's about I don't even want to be with you in that way.
Right? 2 years is a long time.
I wonder where your mind has been, or who's been talking to you. You know what I mean? So, I mean, get out of the relationship. I mean, why make yourself miserable in that area when you can find someone else that actually want to share whatever they want to share with you? What did Brenda say here? Can anybody read that? Jasmine, can you see that?
Yeah, she says the power play is a trap a lot of women fall into. When a partner withholds sex, they play a dangerous game. It is unreasonable to think that if you withhold sex, they will not seek it from somewhere else.
Right, and do a mind game with you. I knew guys growing up in the hood who dated girls. They first dated the girl, and they knew that the girl wasn't, up front. She wasn't finna do anything with the guy. So that they would go out and hang out with other females, the chick they knew, until she's willing to say, I'm ready. You get what I mean? So, I mean, guys, they know how to play the game. You know what I mean? Well, just like some women do. You know what I mean? They know how to play the game, but more so, I think in this situation, the woman holds more of the control. The woman holds power in this situation, unless it's a rape situation. You get what I mean? So, but in this, she controls what happens. She controls the narrative, if that's the narrative.
if
that's what it is in terms of her saying, hey, no, we're not doing this until you clean yourself up. I love you. You a good provider. But hey, you got to get this together if we go, if I'm going to continue. And then is she saying something even more than that subconsciously? Because more women are more of emotional to some degree, and they might take that as not just I'm trying to say it in a clean way. Well, she don't want to just look at it as, we just doing our thing. You know what I mean? You get what I mean? And it's more of an emotional and affectional, you know what I mean? This person loved me. That's why we doing this. We care about each other and not just wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. I mean, how deep, because women, you know how deep this thing goes. Do you want that guy to say, hey, let's do it? You know what I mean?
2 years.
Listen to what I'm saying.
Even if it was like a courtship situation, and you saying like she's like, oh, I'm not doing that until we get married, or you know what I mean? But after 2 years, like our viewer said, like I think that's an unreasonable amount of time to think that someone is not going to go elsewhere and get their needs met. If we're talking about grown, healthy people with healthy Tone, you talked about healthy instincts, or you know what I'm saying, like that's natural to want to be a sexual being. And so to deny that for 2 years, like that's unreasonable.
Yeah, what did Brenda say? Pull that last statement. I think that was an interesting one. I think it was the last one. Can you read that, Jasmine, since the screen's so far away?
Yeah, she says, most couples don't even talk about sex. I would love to know why this couple found themselves in this place. Is there any additional background?
No, and see, that's the thing. There's not. So we only can just go on theory. What we believe that could be true because of the evidence that's put before us. But just from what we're hearing, it's it's a lot obviously that can come into play in this situation here. But ultimately, whose fault is it? Who fault?
Yeah, so whose fault is it? Is it hers or his? Hers or his? Come on, drum roll. Who fault?
Both.
Roll a coin.
Both fault.
Heads or tails, and see who fault.
Both of their fault.
Well, I'm gonna say this. Pull up the title is she denied him for 2 years. So if I use the word in this instant and what I'm reading, I would say she is the fault because it said she denied him. We don't know the reason. You know what I mean? It could be his reason. It could be her reason. Right. But it started to me initially. I think it's her fault because I'm talking about from the content that we're reading at this moment. If we didn't hear anything else.
But she said choices. Brenda said everybody have a choice.
We get that. But I'm saying as we're reading from exactly, and she had the choice. It says she denied him.
He had a choice to leave almost 2 years
ago.
Maybe
she love him, but
Lady B, what's yours? Him or her?
Oh my goodness, that's a good. Oh my goodness, I don't know.
I'm saying both. Tone saying her.
I would say both, because I don't really know the full aspects of it. But I was.
Well, I guess if I was reading and somebody was to say who fought in it, whose fault is it based on the title from what we're reading?
To be deeper than that.
Title. Right. But even if it wasn't, it said she denied. So she was the one.
She denied, though.
But I'm just saying, regardless of it, she took the initial. It's almost like if you get into a fight and you throw the first swing. You know what I mean? You throw the first blow. It don't matter. You threw the first blow and it initiated from there. So I'm saying if from what I'm reading, nothing else played into this, I'm saying she the one. She's at fault. It's to me, she's the one because she initiated. It says she denied. Didn't say he did. He just said okay, that's what you want to do. Go ahead and do it. But I'm gonna tell you now, I ain't gonna be around here too long waiting. See what I mean? And then on a side note, 2 years go by. I mean, 2 years is a long time for anything. And now you can say if that's the case, then they're probably not even in an emotional connection.
Right.
They may not even be there anymore.
No emotional connection.
Yeah, it's probably not any emotional connection. So I would say that she is her fault, but he could have left. He had the decision to leave, but to me, initially, I think it's her fault. That's my point of view. I'll say it's her fault. You know what I mean? So I'll go with that. Guys, we're not holding you too long. The pod, we thought we'd change it up and don't be out here too long in these streets messing with you guys. But guys, listen. You know, we would love that you would leave your comment. What do you think? You have a right to your opinion. Leave your comment. Just like Brenda, she left a couple of comments that were good. There were good statements that she made. And we love that, and we want to see. What do you think about that? Leave your comment. Who fault do you believe it is?
Was it his or was it her fault?
Was it his or was it hers? What did Brenda say as we leave? She said, what did she say?
She said she denied him. He stayed, got his. She got pregnant regardless of the reason. They each made choices and now have to deal with the outcome of each of their choices. Blame is not necessary.
Well, I mean I agree with that, but I also think love you guys, love you too. Right. I think that's true. That's true.
Love you, Brenda.
I also think that there is a scene of events that happen from a decision that's being made. You choose those scenes a lot of the time. We got a book out called "Stop, Think, Talk It Out," and that. The curriculum that it helps people to make better choices.
Yeah.
If you learn how to stop, if you learn how to think and talk this thing out, then you can come up with a better outcome solution, whatever. But guys, this stay. You know, we want you to continue watching it. Even as we leave, guys, if you see, leave comments. We might even read them from last week. Going forward to the next week. But guys, we would love for you to share this page, like this page,
like it, subscribe to our YouTube channel, check out our website, go to Instagram, and meet us back here next Sunday, 4:30. Don't forget.
That's right. We always gonna have some hot
round
topics.
Table.
That's right, guys.
That's right.
What it say? How to get your book? The Stop Think Talk It Out book.
Oh, okay.
Well, we'll put it in the comment area. It's actually a curriculum. It's not really a book like that you buy. It's just more of it goes into
curriculum in the schools.
It goes into schools or different.
And we
things.
have one that also go into churches as well.
Churches. It was more like a program. For kids to help them to make better decisions. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much really what it was.
Most definitely.
But yeah, that's what it is, guys. We thank you. We love you. We appreciate you guys. We ask you to stay safe out there as you go through this week. Starting this week off fresh. Be safe.
Be safe.
And Labor Day.
Exactly. Labor Day. Don't eat too many ribs. Don't choke on that red meat too much.
Keep your mask on while you gumming down that bone, that rib bone.
You know that drunk uncle. Maybe he won't show up this year because Corona. He might have a Corona in his hand.
Right.
You know what I mean? Drinking it. You know what I mean? So guys, just be safe.
Thank you. See you guys next week,
and we'll talk to you.
Have a lovely day.
Lovely day.